Cool. Thanks. Hey, everyone. Um, got a small crowd today, but that's good. Um, yeah, thanks for taking the time to come out and be part of this call. So I'm going to touch on a couple of different things that we've done over the past couple of weeks since our last call. Some of you may have been on the seller call or the avalanche call that happened recently. But if you haven't, I'll just recap those. So Futureswap launched on Avalanche with the Joe USDC pair and the AVAX USDC pair. Both of those launches went super smoothly. It was a great showcase of what this version of Futureswap can do, which is target AMM pools and add leverage exchanges onto that. And so now it's clear we can do it for Uniswap v3, Uniswap v2, and if we want to be able to do things like Curve, we'll be able to do that too. So really exciting in terms of the engineering and innovation that we've been able to come up with. Obviously, there's more to come. This is a stepping stone in that direction. So, really excited with the results. Obviously, it hasn't gained an insane amount of traction. I think generally the market is pretty risk off right now, and the feeling is that quite a bit of users are especially the new ones on Avalanche, are somewhat intimidated by leverage, which makes total sense. So I think it's good if we can release some educational things on what you can do to actually manage your risk. So wanting to make it easier to work with Futureswap and potentially integrate other protocols into Futureswap to make that easier. So far, in terms of the last week, we've done just shy of 500,000. We're in about the mid 400,000, so that's exciting. And had almost 200 trades open, so that's really cool, especially in just a time where people are kind of bearish. So I think it's it's a slow start, and we'll continue just getting feedback from users and listening and seeing what's going on and building it up from there. Going forward, we plan to launch a trading competition on top of the Joe USDC pool, and we're pretty excited for that. We'll have more news next week around some of the prizes and how we plan on doing that. It'll be pretty, I think, innovative in terms of how we pull this off and why it's different than other trading competitions. So it'll be a good model for trade competitions going forward. So keep an eye out for that. And then on the other side, we're looking into doing some kind of structured product for delta neutral farming, and what that looks like and how this can be done safely in a way that is sustainable for the farm and for Futureswap. Obviously, if you can make 20% APY on stables, you're going to have a lot of people wanting to jump in, and so we need to make sure that Futureswap can handle that well. And so we're exploring ways we can do that. But really excited with that potential. Once we launch an exchange on top of the on a pair, we can sort of do more cool financial stuff with it. And this is an example of what you could do. So users can already go delta neutral if they want, just by using Futureswap, but making it easier, making it sort of a one-click thing, I think is something that should lower the bar.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like a lot of sophisticated traders do this, but for most users, it's kind of intimidating. So if it was like, you just have one button and what you're doing is you're basically locking in your value of your tokens while you're staking, if you're doing VE Joe or something like that. And you're staking in, you're actually collecting your fees while locking in the price, protecting the downside risk. So that'd be a really cool idea.
Yeah, I think most people don't know. Like they're like, oh, I'm at this, I'm locked in a stable pool, or I'm not. It's not a stable pool, but I'm locked. I'm using Joe or whatever, and I'm getting almost 20% APY. And then it's like, yeah, but if the price goes down by 20%, you're in the red, right? And you have to wait a year till you make that back. So it's really not. Um, there's more risk in not having it almost. So I think creating a way where people can really clearly understand how to get that and making it so that it's sustainable is sort of our key objective for launching this. So hopefully more news around this comes out. But yeah, super excited around this. Um, yeah, and then if you guys weren't around for the seller call on a high level, we talked about how we're using seller for the Oracle-less FST bridge. So now you can bridge FST from Ethereum to Avalanche, which you couldn't really do before. And I think we're the first ones to do an Oracle-less bridge in the sense that you didn't need a Chainlink price feed. So Futureswap has a pretty unique mechanism that's built using Seller that allows us to basically burn on the Ethereum side and then mint on the Avalanche side. So you're able to not have a bunch of FST locked up in these contracts that are basically unused, which would be non-ideal in some cases, especially for like governance and stuff, where it's just idle FST. So that was really cool. And then the other part was this cross-chain governance bridge. So basically from our DAO in Ethereum, we were able to make a vote that went across the Avalanche message bridge via Seller and deployed a new version of Futureswap. So that's really awesome. And I think going forward, that's going to be more of the model for other protocols for getting governance execution cross-chain. So we were sort of the first ones to do that, and yeah, that's super exciting. It's a really great innovation over there. I think now it's just focus on user feedback, focus on what people liked about the product. We're working on a mobile version and obviously refinements, but we really want to hear from people using it, what they like, what they don't like, if they've run into any issues. We want to make sure that this is a really seamless experience and that the people using it really, really love using it. So that's our number one priority. So if you have feedback, please feel free to ping me or Leisure Lord or leave some feedback in the channel. Happy to also compensate you for your time. Happy to give you FST or USDC or whatever, but yeah, feedback is super valuable for us, and that would be great. Yeah, so I think that's most of the high level stuff. So we talked about structured products. We talked about we launched 2 exchange back to back super quickly. We're looking at what the next exchange should be. We're working on our TWAP code for basically putting on exchanges that don't have a Chainlink price, Oracle, and basically they're just using the Joe pricing feed. So that'll be really interesting because there's quite a bit of projects that have really, really interesting user bases. I think Platypus is one of those, which is kind of a curve-like protocol that has really great yields. So it'd be great to add them as an exchange, allow people to trade on stables with a lot of leverage, and then also be able to do that to basically hedge on some of the stable pool farms that they have as well. So really excited about that. I think that'll be a good use case of Futureswap.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the progress that we've made with cross-chain governance is pretty amazing because you have all these protocols that were launching multi-chain, and it was like So what are the governance implications there? And a lot of them had their own systems, but there wasn't really something, as innovative as what we're doing with Seller. So I think it'll serve as an example, for the whole space.
Yeah, we're definitely good at innovating, for sure. Yeah, so I mean that was a new thing that came out and definitely exciting, and we'll probably do something with Seller. As we said on the call, we're excited to work with them. Yeah, I'm curious how many of the people here are Avalanche users or Joe traders, or not even necessarily on Futureswap, but just in general on Avalanche. And I wonder if it's how many people there. What would they want to see on that chain? And then, from the community, are there other chains that you'd like to see Futureswap deployed on? I know we're talking about deploying on Ethereum, and some of the, obviously, Uniswap v3 is there. They've got pretty deep liquidity pools. There's a couple other AMMs, but yeah, just looking for Futureswap to expand, and what areas do people want to see it grow in? I know there's some some people who want us to go on Aurora chain, which is a near EVM compatible chain. Definitely interesting, and I appreciate some of the info on that. We need to look at that. Let's check community call questions. I'll beta test 20% on stables. Hoping to. Nice. Okay, cool. On Ethereum L1. Okay. Nice. Okay, so you want to see stable exchange on Ethereum L1. Okay. You said that's a request. Okay, stables anywhere, but Ethereum should be the next chain we launch on. Okay. Liquid Ape, I see you mentioning something. In the meantime, while people are writing, yeah, let's touch on the token. So yeah, so Futureswap, FST, obviously taking a little bit of a hit in the market. We launched a pool on Avalanche. We were supposed to do a farm with Trader Joe. Unfortunately, that didn't pan out due to Trader Joe basically saying like we don't have enough accounts using it, and until they see more token holders, they didn't want the farm to go to just a very small number of people. So we're going to hold off on doing the Trader Joe Futureswap farm, which was announced. It looked like it was ready to go, but kind of got pushed back, which is unfortunate, but we understand. So maybe after the trading project or the structured products, we can look at doing a boosted farm. But we'll definitely be looking at launching in other areas as well in the meantime as Futureswap expands. Any plans to deploy on Optimism? Yeah, Optimism is interesting. I would do Ethereum before Optimism. The question is like, how deep are the liquidity pools? There's also been some interest in doing Phantom, but not opposed to Optimism. It sounds like they're doing some kind of airdrop. So people are obviously excited about that. I imagine Arbitrum is also going to do some kind of thing in those regards. So we definitely want to get our latest version up on Arbitrum as well. But Ethereum L1 seems to have obviously still quite a bit of excitement and stuff going on. So yeah, Futureswap is multi-chain. So the plan is to go wherever people want us to go. And so people just need to create a proposal and say, hey, I want to see this on this chain, and we can deploy it. And the only thing that really is a barrier is liquidity. So there needs to be some liquidity inside Futureswap, and then you can do leverage trading on that pool. That's the only thing. So a proposal and some liquidity. Next pair on Avalanche. Sorry if this is hard. So not sure what the next pair is going to be. There's a couple options. definitely would love to hear from the community what would they like to see. Would they like to see a stable pair that's on something like a curve model, so like really low fees, high leverage, um, stables that you can basically arbitrage, and so we'll be able to pull in data from either curve or platypus, which is a curve clone, and be able to arb some of um, the volatility there. Though I'm not sure how much volatility there is, so we need to check. If we do decide to do a stable pair, we should kind of do a deep dive and post that to the community of how much, volatility is. Is it worth opening up that? Because even if you had something like 100x leverage, that is there enough volatility to capture that value? But definitely would be cool to do, hedged, stable farming. I think that would be pretty cool. I mean, stables, a lot of the stables that they picked are pretty stable. Not sure how many people would be interested in, hedging it. But maybe there's some risky stables that have good APY that you want to basically take a short on to make sure that you don't have any downward price exposure. So you can get into like more questionable things, maybe magic internet money or something. But yeah, again, would love to hear chains and pairs that you'd like to see. So if there's a pair you'd like to see, tell us what chain, and we'd love to explore that and see what that looks like. We're still in-house iterating and thinking about where we're going from here, and obviously tokenomics as well. We're sort of still proving out the this product in a bear market, which is fine, and we'll continue to refine the product and make it better. But definitely, we're focused on creating financial products where you can, seize opportunity in crypto land, even in a downward market, or in a bumpy market, I should say. So yeah, what else, Leisure Lord?
Yeah, it's so weird about how the market feels bearish, but like the marketing on TV for crypto products is like skyrocketing. Like I was
All-time
watching
high.
I was watching NBA, and it's like on the Hoop there's Coinbase, and on the commercial there's FTX or something, and the stadium is called FTX Arena. Like I remember thinking about that years ago, like if a basketball stadium had a crypto product on it, that would be like when crypto is real.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of money sloshing around.
Yeah.
I mean, there's still a lot of. I think there's still a lot of projects that are gonna start. There's so much VC funding that have been deployed, and so we're gonna see projects roll out over the next year and two as people build things. I think the big bottleneck is smart contract audits, because you have a sort of a finite number of smart contract auditors, but you have an exploding number of projects. And so like that becomes like the bottleneck. So you get like a trickle of new things that are deployed. Everyone's sort of waiting, and people get antsy because they want to hit the market. So people sort of say like, you know what, let's launch, and while we're launched, let's just tell people like it's not ready yet, it's in beta or whatever, and hopefully we don't get hacked, or we'll like cap things, and then something happens. And so I think there's just going to be a little bit of like spillover of projects that decide to say, fuck it, we're going to launch anyway because we want to capture the market now. And yeah, it's going to be really interesting. There's going to be a lot of more, I think, even adding even more volatility, because the problem with these hacks is it sort of like hits the confidence of users because they sort of ape into these new things, and then sometimes it blows up, and then people are like, oh, screw this, and then they stay just in USDC.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see. He said, for team bandwidth, do you think more pairs launch first, or yeah, I think that's a really good question. I mean, we're open to both. I think it depends on what the users want, right? If users are like, "Hey, we really want to be on Ethereum," and they want this pair, like, I don't see I don't see why not. If they're like, "Hey, I like AVAX or Avalanche, and I really want this thing," we can do that. Definitely, Ethereum launch will take a little bit longer than adding a pair, but it's definitely doable. Um, You'll have to talk to Maxi. Maxi's sort of ahead of those deployments, but we can circle back on it for sure. Shouldn't take that long. Maxi, you think like a day, maybe half a day? See Maxi typing like no. No, the team's working on a lot right now in preparation for some new launches. So there's definitely a backlog, and so doing a new chain would definitely have to deprioritize some other things. But right now, we want to make sure that we get some really good products on Avalanche, so we have a good foundation, a good base of stuff, and make sure that the experience is really, really good. So, and we want to take all that refinement and then go to something like Ethereum, after all those refinements, after all those things that we've been able to get feedback on. Yeah, but we basically follow demand. So at the end of the day, there's like a pair that needs leverage, or there's a good use case for it, and it's not widely used, and people want leverage. Like, yeah, we'll try to be there. That's why we built this version, is to be super fast, to create leverage on things that most people don't have, or is not there yet. And then can we create products on top of that as well? Can we make it really easy to do strategies on that, and have a mobile experience and have notifications and have all these things that just really dial in, like, oh wow, I love using this. So that's why it's so important to hear your feedback. So please, if you've used the product, again, some people came in just recently, so I want to get to them. If you use the product, please give us feedback of what you like, what you didn't like. If you hated something, let us know. We want to make sure that this experience is just awesome. And if you haven't used it, go try it. The minimum is $35 or 35 USDC. Obviously, don't do it if you're in the United States. But if you're outside, definitely give it a shot. It's pretty cool. Would love to know what you think. I think you even get, yeah, it would be great, and would even we can set up some kind of feedback reward program for people who give us really good feedback. That makes our system better. So we'd love that. Yeah. And then if anyone has any other questions, please write it in the community call channel. Would be happy to answer anything on a high level. We're still iterating and shipping, and hopefully you've seen our cadence of just getting things out there. And it's a kind of a slow crawl, but we're gonna keep on going and build products that push the limits of DeFi. And we're really excited about this, even in times like these where it's a little bit of an uncertain market. But these are the times where you want to build, and it gets less noisy because people kind of get pushed out. So we're happy to just make sure our users have a great time and are able to capture value.
We're experimenting on the meme side. We have a new little character that we're quite proud of, but we'd be happy to get the community's feedback. But we haven't named him yet. But he's like, what are we calling him? Pepe Yoda?
Yeah, we don't have a name for our cube guy yet. Maybe we'll post it. Maybe Leisure Lord, if you want to post it in the community call. Yeah. We need a name for this guy. We call it Cube Pepe right now, but it doesn't really roll off the tongue.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, in terms of rewards, we've slowed down the rewards on Futureswap. We want to get We put on quite a bit of rewards initially, not too many, but we did put on some rewards. We didn't see a large upswing in more users, so we dialed it back. So we have this baseline of let's just roll out these products, and there's a volatility. I mean, last week there was what 20% volatility in Joe. So if you opened up a 5x short or long, depending on where, it's like you basically double your position. So it's pretty crazy how much volatility there is in Joe, and then how little trade volume there is. But I guess it's like, at the end of the day, people, if they feel, this thing's too risky, it makes sense. Leverage trading is definitely a more advanced thing. But it's good to see that it's not just flat, that there is enough volatility in Joe that there's tons of opportunity. And even in Avalanche, right? It's like uncertain times. So you can sort of trade on Avalanche news. I know there was a big announcement on Joe with Joe NFTs. I think it's like Joe Pegs. I don't think it got as much as they wanted, and you could see the price just kind of like tank after that. So yeah, definitely. Maybe we should create like a Joe speculation channel so people can kind of ride on the heels of that stuff. Maybe that would be helpful. Oh, there's our cube Pepe. I mean, that's Maxi. It's Maxi's Pepe. Very serious.
Laser.
Cool. There's like 66 people in here. It's crazy. That's awesome. Thanks for coming out, everyone. Again, feedback is super important. We'd love to hear your thoughts on it. If you had a good experience, we'd love to hear if you had a bad experience. We'd love to hear about it even more. If there's any problems you hit, let us know. If there's something you want to see, let us know. We're thinking about and pretty deep in the structured product stuff. So if there's any ideas around that, let us know. We're thinking about making it so you just have USDC, you have stables, you put it into this vault, and then it auto yields for you in whatever that exchange is hooked up to. So if it's the Avalanche staking, you'll get the yield from that. If it's the Joe staking, you'll get the yield from that. And then we basically lock in the price. So even if there's price fluctuations, you still get that yield. And it's as if it sort of turns into a stable coin. So it's a pretty cool concept that I don't see. I basically don't see it really anywhere else on Ethereum or on Avalanche. So really excited to be the first ones to test it out. But it's got to be sustainable. So yeah, we'll probably beta test it to people who are users of the platform first, and so they'll get first dibs on this. Yeah, we're also thinking about how to do leverage staking. I know that's kind of an idea that people want to see, which is you put in $100, but then you get $100 of staking, USDC. And so if the yield was 7%, now the yield is closer to 14%. So being able to leverage up your staked amount into a pool is also pretty interesting. Obviously, I think people would be excited to have more APY on their money. Like no one's going to turn that down, given that there's not a lot of downside. So also thinking about how to do this, I think this would be a popular product as well. So yeah, we'd love to hear your guys' feedback, and yeah, we're gonna keep on building and letting you guys know what we build, and we'd love to hear your feedback and input on pairs and the product and other chains. So yeah, thanks for listening.
Cool. So for our POAP distribution, we're gonna have a secret word, and it's broccoli. So if you when I DM, that would be the secret word to receive the POAP. Again, broccoli is the secret word. Yeah, thanks for coming, guys. have a really good rest, or I guess weekend. Yeah, it's Friday.
Yeah, enjoy your weekend.
All right. See you guys.
Bye.